Boker Tov, Yom Tov, Zarim Tovim, and Laila Tov. How is everybody today? The main reason why I'm here is, first of all, to just remind you that I am having a Zoom meeting that is open to anybody who wants to attend in just a few hours, about 2.5 hours from now. Information you can find off of my Facebook page, Carrie Husband, or I believe I even put something out, I think on YouTube, that has that information on it as well. So the meeting ID number and the password is there. Today I'm going to attempt to be able to put it on YouTube as well, so that it can be streamed at the same time. The only trouble with that is that if I'm streaming on Zoom, I can't see comments that are being made on YouTube. So if you want to be able to participate and ask questions, come and join in on the Zoom meeting. If you just want to listen in, then I am going to be live streaming it on YouTube today. It'll be the first time I've done this. I just figured I'd try it out and see how well it works. It's nice to see you, Lisa and Jamie and Derek. It's nice to see you guys here. Thank you for coming and popping on in. The other reason why I'm here to, other than just talk about the meeting that is going to happen in 2.5 hours on the Zoom session, is I also wanted to go over a verse. And I'm going to not go into a lot of detail, but it was something that really was brought forward to my attention through my friend Brandon, and he's mentioned it several times. And I thought, well, shoot, I might as well take a look at it and see really what was being said, what Yahshua was saying. And we are going to go over that right now. So it's only going to just take a few minutes to be able to do this. But again, please come and join if you feel like it. The Zoom meeting at 1 p.m. today, where we were going to be discussing Revelation chapter 19, verse 7, about the wife who has made herself ready, or the bride who has made herself ready. I think it will be very revealing. I'm looking forward to it. But for now, let's go ahead and take a look at this verse that I wanted to share with you. Give me a moment here while I pop in over on that. Okay, it's going to be coming from John 12. I have yet much to tell you, but you cannot now apprehend. Or King James saying, I have yet many things to say unto you, but ye cannot bear them now. Well, what is going on here? Well, there's some pretty profound things. Like I said, I'm not going to go into full detail of the entire verse, but I did want to highlight a few things to you that I found were extremely significant. When Yahshua is saying that he has much to tell, he has much to tell. We have the word here for much, and we have the word here for tell. And it's interesting to see if we were to pop on over here to a little bit further side here. Again, furthermore, I find this incredible to see what is going on in this, because Tav Bet is the root of the very first word. Much and many, Semek Gimel Aleph, but that's not what we're seeing written here. And there's reasons why. So why am I saying this? Okay, well, let's go back here. Tav Bet is the exact order of Bet Tav. Now, if you've been with me in sharings that I have done, or we've talked about Bet Tav significantly, about building the covenant of love. That for daughter, Bat versus Ben, who builds, and based on something I posted on Facebook today, that might really connect some dots here if you saw that post. But this is the covenant that you're to connect in your heart to build you on the inside. So, therefore, much, okay? So if we're talking about the covenant that we need to connect to on the inside, where Source Creator dwells, our innermost being, which is the place of our heart, building us on the inside, he's saying that he has much to tell us. But the word much is supposed to have an aleph in it, but there is no aleph. And there's a reason why. He has to be able to give us the vision of the oneness unity. And it is up to us to take the vision and do something with it. I was thinking about like businesses. Businesses will cast a vision for their company to aim towards, to shoot towards. This is why hitting the mark is so important, to have a vision painted, to know what you are walking towards, what your goal plan is, what you're planning on doing. If somebody doesn't cast a vision for you, if you don't cast a vision for yourself, then you're going to wander aimlessly, never being able to hit that mark of what you want to obtain in your lifetime. So vision is very powerful. And that is why when we look at the letter Yod, when it's spelled out in its constituent letters, the gematria, the total number of that word, is the same exact for the Hebrew word meaning vision, kazah, to have a vision, to see. And Yod means power, means in direction, the hand that gives, the open hand that gives the power, means, and direction necessary as a vision. And the reason why the Yod is there and the Aleph is removed is because they didn't comprehend the oneness unity. So he had much that he was trying to share with them, but they hadn't actually grasped a hold of the vision he was giving him. So all he could do is give him a vision and being able to cast it, but it was up to them to be able to catch it and do something with it. And then we have the Aleph Yod Tav, which this is really, the Aleph Tav is the summary of the language, having a Yod in the middle of it. Again, here's this vision that comes through the sacred languages, the Aleph through the Tav, because literally there is a spiritual journey to be had, the Aleph through the Tav. And that power comes when we connect to it on the inside at the heart level. Again, if we are looking at these things from the head level and bypassing our heart, we are never going to see the spirit intention of the process of our becoming through the vision that is being cast. That is the whole point of the teaching shepherd that comes to bring the vision. So right now, I mean, this that's already sharing to us in how it's written is, I want to give you a lot here, but I only can cast a vision at this point because you haven't even grasped a hold of the vision I'm trying to present of oneness unity. It is the way of one. Heard it as the way, and it's the way of the Aleph, the way of one. So when we cut off the Aleph, that is oneness unity. That is the Mashiach. That is the Christ anointing. Oneness unity is Christ. Oneness unity is Christ. That is something that we become. It's not Yeshua's last name. We are one in Christ. It doesn't mean that we're one in Jesus or Yeshua. That means we're one in the oneness factor, as in I am you, you are me, we are Yeshua, Yeshua is us, we are the Father is us. We need to be able to separate that, because I know many times when I hear people say, you know, and use the word Christ, they automatically attach it to the man Jesus, Yeshua, when it's about something that we are to become. It's dormant. Like every one of us has the potential, but just like the potential, the lump of clay, there's a potential energy there in a static form that needs to become kinetic. That's why Hebrew and Aramaic are so verb driven, because you need to do something with information. It's just not automatic. You are not Christ unless you become Christ. You don't have the Mashiach until you become the Mashiach. It's laying dormant and you have to do something. So he's saying that even in telling the word Amar, this is also a word that means the word. Tell, speak, declare. And what we have added is you need instructions while you're here in waters of chaos so that you can have the 100-fold measure of the anointing of oneness, but it's going to be a better journey for you because you're having to find it in chaos and you're poor and destitute and you need to be raised up and out of it. And that is through instruction. As he came as a teaching shepherd that had the authority to goad and urge and prick us to get us in that, it was going to be a bitter journey because we're dealing with ego. And it's the ego that makes us poor and destitute because we don't realize that we're one. So right in the middle of this word, whenever you see something right in the middle, take it to heart, quite literally. Because the center of anything, the center of a word, a center is when we translate this to ourselves so that we can become the word made flesh, we are looking at the oneness on the inside of us. So literally, literally, the Aleph is on the inside. That's the point. That's why this word was spoken, because Aleph is meant for us to connect to on the inside to become one with Source Creator. And then when he's talking about instructing them, kun is to be firm and to be established. That's added. The Lamed stands alone here. So the kun was added on the suffix side, so that in presenting things through mother right here, because the lamed is on the prefix having to do with mother's teaching, golden rule in our spiritual adolescence. Part of the reasons why he's saying he can't share, he can only provide the vision for us, because there was much that they weren't grasping, because he was still having to instruct them through the waters of mother, through the word. But he really wanted to instruct them in the ways of father, hence why kun is on the suffix, so that they could be firmly established. Why? Because he's presenting the vision to them over and over again. Here it is, here it is, here it is. But they have to cough, they have to grasp a hold of it, connect to it, tame their ego, connect to father in meekness, power under control, which is really getting the beast ego nature under control that rules and reigns through fear in us. And to do this while we are in our flesh suit, our lower vibrational frequency in experience in this matrix. And so it's the inward instruction between the two Alephs of mother and father that have become one. That is the whole point, the beginning of this portion of this verse. But then it says, but you now apprehend. Here's our lamed aleph, our not. But as I've shared many times, and I will continue through inculcation, lamed means to instruct and to learn. Aleph means one. So this is instructions in the way of one. So in other words, if the word not or no is being presented to you, it is only because you haven't had the instructions in becoming one. So therefore, everything that you're doing is the opposite of that, because once you are instructed and you actually grasp a hold of this and you become firmly standing, you become El. Aleph. Notice it's the different order. So he was coming to say, look, there's a vision I'm trying to get to you, that you are one with God. That's literally what this is. This is Aleph Lamed means God, and Aleph on the end means one. God as one. But you need to be instructed in the way of one in order for you to grasp a hold of it. So then when we're talking about, so these two words, and this next word here means to be able, they translated it as cannot. But this word means to be able. So instruction in the way of one is so that you can be able, and I guess I am going over every single word. Can't help myself, but I'm not drilling down to the letters. So I guess maybe that's positive. Maybe I don't need to drill down to the minutia, because I'm just giving an overview on this. I laugh at myself. Before I go to this second half of this verse about being able, I should just check in and see how you guys are doing. See if you guys have any questions. Hey, Greg, I know. 2 teachings today. Well, this was one of those spur of the moment. The only reason why I came on was to say, hey, I have got the Zoom meeting coming on. But then my friend Brandon had mentioned this verse, and that's why I'm going on there to talk about it. So if any of you guys are watching from Facebook and you have questions, the unfortunate part is I'm not able to see those things because I'm really not live on Facebook. I'm live on Restream, which is posting to Facebook and YouTube at the same time. So if you want to join in and have comments and would like to engage in our conversation right now, please pop on over to YouTube so I can see if you have any questions. So really, that beginning part of that phrase was the only thing that Yahshua could do at the time was to present the vision to them of what oneness looks like. But he couldn't actually teach it, because in order to have oneness to be made manifest in you, Spirit needs to reveal it. Someone can talk about it. Someone can say, this is the vision, is that we are to become one. But until Spirit reveals it to you through the Spirit breath, the hey before the aleph, right? The exhale before the inhale. The hey is revelation. This revelation needs to be breathed into you through Spirit so that you can aleph it, so you can become one with it. And he had to give them this vision. And it's important to understand too that the two little, like in the letter aleph, it's an upper yod and a lower yod that are connected with a vav. So there's a vision from above that needs to be connected with our vision from below in order for them to become one. So Yahshua is presenting this, and we need to be able to grasp a hold of that vision and become one with it. But that is why a teaching shepherd comes, to be able to present these new ideas to us. And having the staff of authority, part of the whole purpose of what they're doing to try to bring us into oneness unity is to goad us and urge us in that connection, that direction. That's what the staff of authority is about. And that's why the goading and the pricking, sometimes it hurts. Sometimes mother's correction, when we are doing things that are not becoming, we get pricked. And it's meant to pierce us in our heart so that we want to become one. Hi, Lou. Hi, Micheline. It's good to see you. I know Micheline's going to the lake, so thank you for popping in. I appreciate it. So Yeshua's whole job was to present the vision, and since he had the staff of authority, so let's go back in so I can connect this. Such amazing stuff. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to take off the captions. No reason to have those on there and be on the way so that you guys can see. All right, let's pop back into the Peshitta and take a look at here what I'm talking about. I like to be able to share these things to you so that you know that I'm not just, woo, wrong button. Sorry. I have to laugh at myself sometimes, keeping it real, keeping it real. There we go. So that staff of authority where he goes and goads and urges, pricks us to teach and instruct us is added to the word that literally means word. The word and speaking, telling, and confirming. So that's what he's trying to do again. And we have it again to urge us to be able to stand firm that we need to have instruction on the inside about this oneness unity. So then when we get to the second portion, so he's saying, you cannot, and the word you is right here. So even prophetically, he's saying you will become one once you get the instruction on the inside, but you need to be instructed in the way of one. Then you'll be able. So this is the word I'm highlighting right here, means to be able. And this is what I find so deeply profound. And sometimes I wish I could just transplant my brain and put it in your head so that, because I have all this information from years of excavation and I so desperately want to share it with you guys, just so that you can have that aha moment. If you connected to that video the other day about aha and ahava, alas, these revelations come through love. So I can only share with you, and maybe through time we'll be able to see, you'll begin to really connect to it. That's my hopes. So what we have here in these first, let's try to just do, there we go. The first 4 letters here, if we were to remove the cough, we literally have the word for anoint. Anoint and oil and measure. That is the root of the word Mashiach. And if you guys don't know what the word Mashiach is the word for Christ. So to be able, now cough is moved on the inside of this word. It's there because if you are able to grasp a hold of this, because cough means to grasp, with the fist grasping a hold of something, and notice there's a little dot in the middle, that means to be pierced. If you can grasp a hold of this and tame and yoke your beast ego nature at the heart level, where your heart has been pierced because you've felt what it feels like to be connected and to what it feels like to be disconnected, then this is going to give you the ability to have the Mashiach anointing. The oil meant to give you life, chai, we literally have the word life right here, to bring you life while you're in your flesh suit, in the material realm, in the matrix. That is an incredible world right there. If you can really just allow that to sink in. In order to have Christ activated within you, because it's static, it's a lump of clay, you have to grasp a hold of this on the inside. This revelation, because it's kaf pei, pei is the mouth that speaks, hey, the revelation, as I was sharing with you the spirit breath, you have to have it revealed to you before you can inhale it within you. It's meant for the inside. It's meant for you to grasp it at the heart level, not the head level. And it's meant to give you power while you are in flesh, in the material realm. And then we have the beautiful tune, and I've shared this many times with you guys. And if you haven't seen that yet, this word Antun is the gift that was given to us so that we could become the word made flesh. I'm not going to break that down to you right now, but if you want to go and take a look, I have a video in the archive called Antun, Olive Noon. Sorry. Yes, it's Olive Noon, Tav. Anyway, this doesn't help you. In English, it's Antun. I spend so much time in the Hebrew and Aramaic that when I try to convert it to English, I get all messed up in the head. I'm like, what is that? Laughing at myself again. So Antun, this is the gift that was given by the groom for us to become the Word made flesh. That's why it's huge. And so I even have a PDF document that goes over every single verse that this specifically, because it's a key. So any verse that has Antun in it is a key for you to look at in this of us becoming the Word made flesh, just like Yahshua. And why am I saying? Well, because what he's wanting us to do to apprehend, that's this word, and this is hasha, means now, is the word, wait for it, achad. This is the word to be one, to be unified and united as one. That's really profound, you guys, because we have the Word made flesh as a gift that's being given to you in the way of instruction while you're in the waters of chaos, so that you can find first the hundredfold measure of being able to have that vision begin to take effect, so you can find life through the door of going inwardly to find where you're weak and feeble, the place that is this vision is still dangling, that hasn't been connected, so that you can deliver yourself of the beast ego nature, so you can become one. And to do it now. Asha means now, but look at this. It's hey, it's the spirit breath that has fire in the middle, because sheen is the letter that is consumed, that is directly connected to fire on the inside. So what I haven't highlighted, you have the hey on the front on the prefix, and you have the aleph on the suffix. This is the spirit breath. And this word means now. It's a now revelation that is going to consume you on the inside. And what is it consuming? Your fallen flesh, your beast ego nature, so that you can do what? Become one. Achad. I and my Father are one. Achad. Are you guys seeing what Yahshua was saying here? Yahshua was saying that he wanted to be able to share them. He wanted to share these things with them, but all he could do was speak about the vision, about what it looks like, where the kingdom is, what we're doing with this, what we're becoming, what we need to share with other people in a vision of a day where we were all united in oneness unity. The trouble is that trying to communicate it and then having the revelation become manifest within you can only be revealed to you by spirit. So Yahshua is speaking over and over and over about this oneness unity. And he says, you can't bear these things right now because you're barely grasping a hold of the vision. Because if you did, if you grasp it truly on the inside, to be able, remember the mashach, anointing, oil, measurement, you have to grasp it within your heart. So I can only speak of the vision of it right now. You have to wait for the Spirit revealing it to you on the inside. Because as soon as you grasp it within you, you then become it. That is so profound. And it's like, oh my gosh, blow my mind. So we are now getting to see into these intricate workings of what Yahshua was speaking to his disciples, and then seeing what he was saying, because all of his words were crafted specifically. And you really see this in Paul's writings as well. Everything was intentional because they could use different words, but there's reasons why they chose certain words based upon the resonant frequency contained within the words of light, because light is information. It's a frequency, and it is something that we absorb within us that our body resonates to, because it's where we came from and it's what we were made of. We are congealed light. We are slowed down light. So the more information we get, the more our body is changed. So he's presenting this vision, chazah, can you see it? Can you see it? This is where we're heading. This is where we're heading. And I shared yesterday that, or maybe I haven't even posted it yet. I did on Facebook, I typed it out, that the word sin means anything that separates us from oneness unity. It's chet, tet, aleph. So in life, you are going to wrestle with oneness unity. So anything that separates us from oneness unity, whether work or deed, whatever we are doing that is separating us from becoming one is considered sin. That radically shifts everything, which is the whole point of what Yahshua was trying to make. Go and sin no more, meaning don't do things that are dividing and separating you from your brothers and sisters anymore. We need to take this vision of oneness, unity, and manifest it. But we first have to have it revealed. And so the only thing that Yahshua to do, the only thing that all of these other people that are out that are speaking about oneness, unity, is to cast the vision so that you can grasp a hold of it. And the only way that you're going to be able to do that is meditating on these things. That's why prayer time is so important, because really prayer time is meditation. So we go and we seek, now if we're going for prayer as a laundry list, that's a completely different story. But when we enter into that place of silent prayer, which is the most effective, where we first enter in through gratitude in the heart, it's the place where we sit and listen. So we can present a question and then wait for the answer. Because the Spirit is going to reveal exactly what you need in the moment in your process of maturation based upon what you can handle. So Yahshua is saying, there is so much more I want to give you, but you first have to grasp a hold of this vision. I cannot give you more until you have entered into that place of oneness, unity on the inside. Because otherwise, it's just not going to make sense. You will have literally nothing that you can grasp a hold of it. It's just going to just go through your hands. It's a spirit concept, and there's many people that want to be able to have something concrete. But the reason why I'm sharing these things with you from the language is because for me, now this is just my vehicle design and where I came in, I'm extremely word oriented. So when I see it in writing, and I see that this was put in writings over 2,000 years ago, I can grasp a hold of it, because that's my love language. Words of affirmation is my top love language. So when I see these writings, they're a love letter to my heart. So when I see this oneness concept, and I see the vision being cast, and I see the way the words were crafted, specifically with letters added and deleted, they were intentional. And to not be able to see that in English, that broke my heart when I'm like, oh, look at this beautiful love letter. And then you don't see it. It's like totally watered down and diminished, and only 5% really crosses over into the English narrative. And that's why you can see that we haven't really been brought forth into that oneness unity. We haven't been able to bear it because nobody has been presenting. The English scriptures barely talk about oneness unity. There was a verse, and I don't have the address in my mind, about Yahshua saying that really his heart was, I want them to know the oneness unity, paraphrasing here, that you are me and I am you, and we're in one another, and I'm in them and they're in me. Totally paraphrasing, butchering that, because it doesn't really matter. I understand the concept, I comprehend it, and I'm getting to the place through walking this out, and the Spirit revealed to me a little bit at a time really what this oneness unity looks like, because I can see the vision was given. This vision was given to us to be able to grasp a hold of it on the inside. We are never going to have this manifest if we're wrestling it up here. Again, Greco-Roman mindset has you enter in. Western teaching has you enter in from the mind up here. But this is very noisy, and we need to calm it down, because this is where the ego resides, guys, up here. Your ego resides in your head. Your soul and your spirit reside in your heart. We don't need a heart bypass. We need a head bypass. We need to be able to go into our heart and start there. Eastern cultures teach that. They teach that to their young ones. It's all about the heart. And in Hebrew, you can see that it literally, the word heart, leb, means the inner man. The inner man, not the outside man, not the masked man, not the ego man, not the parts that we play in this grand theater. The parts that I play a wife, I play a stepmother. I play a teacher. I guess if that's what you want to call me, I'm just sharing from my heart. But we play all of these roles. I play the part of an aunt. I play the part of a daughter. I play the part of a sister. But none of those define me. That's not who I am. That's just the part I'm playing right now. So when we talk about the authentic self, Yahshua is saying, look, I'm giving you a vision to find your authentic self on the inside, which is the Christ anointing, the Magiera, in oneness unity, so that we can rip off the masks of all the roles that we're playing and to see that we're all one, as unified as one. Because it changes the relationship. I don't have to see my stepson as my stepson. I can see him as one with me. I don't have to see my husband as my husband. I can see him one as me. And it's such a radical shift. And I can see why Yahshua is like, until you guys grasp a hold of it, there's nothing more I can teach you. So through inculcation, I have to keep giving you the same vision over and over again, because I have to teach you from other side. You haven't grasped even the milk yet. I mean, you've got it, but you haven't been able to take what I'm trying to share with you and bring it inside. Because much of what they were wrestling was from up here. Because ego will always separate us. The ego will always separate us from our heart. The ego will always separate us from one another. And I'm not saying kill the ego. We need to have it. That's how we experience separateness, so we can enter into oneness. How do we know what oneness is unless we first experience what separateness is? That's the whole system of duality. And then we see the vanity of all of this. And it's like, oh my gosh. Okay, so hi, Chloe. That's really nice of you to say that. Thank you. It's good to see you on here too. That's a really good question, Greg. Do you have to, let me try that again. Do you have to not sin because to have unity consciousness, or do you not sin because you have unity consciousness? So in the definition of the word sin, there's also the flip side of it, which has to do, you're fine, Greg, no big deal. I get what you're saying. So, and just for your sake, I'll go ahead and hide it. It's no big deal. I don't judge on typos. You should see all the typos I do when I'm like responding on Facebook. It's ridiculous. Again, for me, my ego and perfectionism gets all, you just made a typo, but people don't care about the typos. They care about the heart. Alicia, you should care more about the heart than the typos. I get what you're saying. So in the definition of the word sin is also the word that means to repent. So what are we doing? We're repenting from having the thought that we were separate. So to sin is to do things that do not bring forth oneness unity. But right in the word, the letter tet is right in the middle. So again, anything that's in the middle is really talking about your heart. So our separateness, because of the ego, is causing us to wrestle the oneness unity. So to go and sin no more means just don't do things that are causing division. Seek unification. What are your words doing? Are they separating and dividing? Are they judging? Are they classifying? Or are they bringing in unity? Are they bringing people into love? Because until we can get rid of that kind of a mindset, we are going to continue wrestling. And that's what sin is. I was pondering it because I was thinking about lots of different religions out there that have things like, really strict dress codes and really strict, you can't play cards. You can't, there's just lists of can't. And I was being overwhelmed with it. I was sitting there meditating on it and I just started crying. The tears were just streaming down my face because of all these lists that we have put that continue to divide and separate. You have those people that are out there that are really trying to hold to a religious narrative, and be careful, that's mixing. Be careful, you're getting in dangerous ground. Be careful. And we're supposed to cast our cares, not be careful. We're supposed to cast our cares. Because really, If I'm choosing to wear makeup, this is not something that is me saying, look at me, because I want to look different than you. This is me in my expression of enjoying that I'm a woman and I get to do this. If your heart is causing this separation because I'm wearing makeup or because I have earrings and I'm wearing jewelry, and you're projecting that on me, it's because you are wrestling on the inside with oneness unity. You're projecting it on me because your ego is saying that the only way I can join in with you is if you, A, don't wear makeup, and B, don't wear jewelry. And that is all ego, my friend. That is all ego. That is the tribal mentality that says, I need to find the people that are just like me, that think just like me, that do things just like me in order for me to feel safe. Because really the whole ego's modus operandi is fear. I fear you because I'm different. I fear you because you look different. I fear you because you act different. I fear you because you do different words. And if I can't understand you, head, if I can't understand you, then I'm going to shove you away. And that's separation. Well, that's sin. That is what sin is. It's all meant for us to go inward. Stop judging ourselves on the inside and accept who we are. All the parts. Do I have potential for evil? You bet I got potential for evil. Absolutely, I have potential for that. Am I going to act? No. Now that I understand what evil is, and now I understand what sin is, evil is the word that means a child, a suckling, an infant. And why is that? Because a child hasn't been instructed yet. And they need to be instructed. Because left to their own devices, they can do things to hurt other people. To hurt, harm, that is part of evil. So if you are causing hurt and harm on another person, then you're just a child and you're acting like a baby. Because you don't realize that we're one. Ein Vav Lamed. To see, to connect on the inside and be instructed. So when we act out in harming one another, we are being evil. You can't see the instruction. You haven't connected in your heart. You're just being a little child. That, that helps reframe the way we look at it. Oh, you don't know that we're one yet. You don't realize that what you're doing, you're actually doing to yourself because we're the same. You and I are one. And for us to also think that what we are doing doesn't affect the collective, it does. It totally does. And that was a huge shift for me. So seeing the things that I do on a daily basis, if I am wanting to walk in life and I'm realizing that there's a wrestle into becoming one, that is what sin is, anything that separates us from oneness unity, then that gives me the ability to look at literally everything I'm doing. What are my words? Are my words bringing life? Is what I'm doing bringing life? Even just silly stuff around the house. You know, we don't realize the deep impact of our becoming and what that has as a sphere of influence around the people that are with us. So when we become one on the inside, and I was having a discussion about this with one of my friends, when we become one on the inside, really what holds us back from this, and I get it, because I get it more than you know, probably. And I empathize with those of you that are struggling in this because it's a worthiness issue. You mean to tell me I'm one with God? Because we've been so steeped in this narrative of shame and guilt. We were born into original sin. Sin separates us from God. Well, yeah, it does if you look at the definition of it. Anything that you're doing that's causing separation from oneness unity, but that starts inside. What are you doing on the inside? What is your self-talk? What are the things that you do when nobody is watching you? Are you harming yourself? Because if your self-talk is negative and it's dividing and it's not unifying, you are doing harm to yourself. On the inside, you're being evil. You're being a child. Because the mature side of that is being able to take that wrestling and transmute it into something beautiful. I know this very well. When I went through having to go through CPTSD, complex post-traumatic stress disorder, I had running tapes in my head all the time. Oh my gosh, it used to drive me nuts. So part of my dissociative identity disorder, I had a separate entity that was a perfectionist. And whenever the perfectionist was around, was not enjoyable. I didn't enjoy myself in that manifestation of that entity of me through ego. It was a separate ego identity because everything had to be meticulous. And as soon as it wasn't meticulous, and here's the funny thing about perfectionism, you are never going to be perfect. It's impossible. It is not possible. You're going to drive yourself nuts and you're going to drive everyone else around you because you're going to hold everybody to that standard of perfectionism, which is really what narcissists do. If perfectionism is not, it's unattainable. Okay. I had to come to terms with this. And so what would happen is these tapes would play over and over and over my head. You see, you can't do anything right. You always are making mistakes. No wonder why you're rejected. You can't do anything right. You screw up everything that you put your hands to. And I had those tapes playing in my head all the time. And those were outright lies. So back then when I was wrestling that, if somebody had come to me to give me the vision, hey, do you know you're one with God? I wasn't ready for that. I was still fighting my inner demons. Demons are mental projections. My demons were the tapes that were running around in my head, the narratives that I created about me. Not that they were true. They were narratives that I created based upon trauma that I suffered as a child, because it was the only way for me to figure out why did certain things happen to me, because I deserved to be punished, right? Because I wasn't perfect. Had I been perfect, I would have been loved and I wouldn't have been rejected. And I played those tapes over and over and over and over in my head. So Yahshua dealing with the disciples is like, I can only take you so far to be able to give you this vision of oneness. But until you become one on the inside, okay, I'm speaking very personal to me. I had I had fractured egos. I had multiple personalities. I had an ego here and I had a different ego here and I had a different, all because of survival. How in the world could I do anything with the vision that was being presented until I was able to take all of those fractured parts and put them back together as one ego? Then I could begin to transcend out of the one ego. You think you can transcend out of multiple egos? Good luck with that. Because any given moment when you were triggered, here's a different ego. So that ego, you know, how are you going to transcend that ego? Now you're going to transcend that. It's hard enough just one. It is hard enough to do with just one. So I'm not ashamed of sharing these things with you, because this is the testimony of this vehicle, of this design, as me being one of you, as you, my fractal journey in fractions, being broken in many pieces. I had to bring it back to one. And that's the only way I could be talking to you today. That's it. Had I not done this, I wouldn't be able to see what I see, to be able to share what is coming forth through these languages. And this isn't spiritual ego. No, I didn't just trade one for another, because really, who cares about the information I'm sharing? Who cares? It is only for those who care, because they are grasping a hold of the vision and they want to do something with it. Otherwise, it doesn't matter. My ego doesn't matter. I'm one with you. We matter collectively. So the healing is necessary. So Yahshua saw it. I can't give you more until you do with what the vision that I've given you. You need to get the chaos out of you. You need to work on the heart level chaos that is causing you to not be able to grasp a hold of this on the inside. So the instruction of oneness is really you instructing yourself on the inside. The vision is presented. The language shows it. But the spirit has to reveal it to you on the inside first. And if you have any blockages, if you have any trauma, if you have anything that is causing you to have an issue with worthiness levels, feeling that you are not worthy, feeling like you are just going to be rejected, any masks that you wear, any roles that you play, that limits our ability. And that is why he couldn't tell them anymore. But it wasn't so much, I need to hurry up and tell you, because Yahshua also knew something else. And I believe, it's conjecture, but I can see from what I'm reading in the writings and my own personal journey that he wasn't worried either, because he had given them everything that they needed. And he knew eventually the light bulb would go off. Ding, 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 ding. We got a winner. That they would be able to actually assimilate this and be able to transcend out of it, because it's a process and it takes time. Some are on a longer journey. Some take longer to get there. And guess what? That's okay. There's no need to force it upon anyone, because the spirit is going to reveal it to them exactly when they need to have it revealed in the time of their walk in maturation. Our jobs is to begin to see it already, as if it is already manifested in them, by seeing them as one. Yes, boundaries are necessary, because not all have arrived there yet. But when we begin seeing them that way and treating them that way, as we instead of us and them, then the perspective changes, because already what is being presented is unity, calling you in, the call to unite, to become united. So it's the perception within us that is going to make the shift happen. But it has to start in here first, recognizing that we have the ability of the Magiera in us. So even when you're reading in English and you see the word Christ, what I suggest, and I'm never going to tell anybody anything, what I'm going to suggest is that whenever you see the word Christ, please don't automatically associate it with Jesus, with Yahshua. Yes, he became it. It's you. It is prophesying to you to go within and activate it within you, because it's laying dormant. And you have the ability to do it, but you have to grasp it at the heart level. And then what happens is your words change, your actions and your deeds change, your perception changes. This is what this whole consciousness, sometimes I just get, I don't know, I guess maybe frustrated. I don't even like using that word. I don't even want to use the word overwhelmed. I think we complicate it too much with words. I think we're searching for a way to describe these things instead of just letting it be. Because these actions, changing the way we speak, changing the way we see people, changing the way we see ourselves, changing the way we think about ourselves, the things that we do in our daily activities. That speaks so much more than me trying to define what an elevated consciousness is. Let me try to be a guru here and try to explain it to you through all these flowery words instead of just becoming it. How about that? Let's not get bogged down with so many words. And yeah, I'm laughing as I'm saying that, like, oh, hello, Carrie, that's exactly what you do. You get bogged down on the words. You go through every single letter and every single word and every single verse. Yeah, but that's my love language. I'm just speaking love to myself so that I can love myself to a greater degree so that I can turn around and love you in a greater degree. So whenever I'm sharing through the words and I'm sharing it through the letters, I'm speaking love to you through my heart because I love you. And this is how I communicate it. This is my love language. It may not be yours, and I understand that because we have different ways of doing that. But for those of you who are word-oriented and those of you where words of affirmation is your love language, then I'm communicating it to you so that you can feel the love. That's how I do it. I can't touch. That's my second one. I'm going to try to reach out and touch you guys and give you hugs. Give me a big hug. But we're in the digital age now and I can't do that. But I can certainly do it with my words. And I can certainly do it by taking the time and breaking these verses down to you, for you, because it's my benefit, but it's yours as well. I see it so I can become it because I'm becoming you and you're becoming me. That's why I do it. I do it because I love you. And I'm not just saying that because it's a fluffy, nice word and people like to hear it. Oh, yeah. I love you, man. It's even like when we say, hey, love ya. But there's a difference when somebody says, I love you. Love you, bro. Love you, sis. I get that. But to be able to connect at the heart level. And that's what Yahshua was saying. You want the anointing? Grasp it at the heart level. Because then we can look at each other. And I can look in your eyes. And you can look into mine. And we can say, I love you. You matter. Your words matter. You being here matters. Your struggle matters. You matter to me because your struggle is my struggle. Your life is my life. Your words are my words. You are a reflection of me and I see you just as you are, perfectly and wonderfully made, the Christ in you, even if you don't see it yet. I do. And that's why I am speaking these love letters over you, because I love you, every single one of you, because we are one. And when you shift, everything changes. When you grasp this at the heart level and not the head, everything is seen through such a different light. And all you want to do is just hug people. Well, that's my love language. I want to hug you. But right now, all I can do is use my words. And hopefully you can feel it from my heart. So thank you. I wasn't planning on taking an hour of your time. I just wanted to say, hey guys, I'm having a Zoom meeting in a couple hours. But when I start talking through my heart, sometimes it just goes on. So now you know what that verse is saying and what Yahshua was saying. I can't give you more because you haven't grasped the vision fully yet. But as soon as you do, we're really going to take off running because it's like a wildfire, a conflagration of oneness unity. And if we can grasp a hold of it one at a time and then we unite, wow, we can see this really burn, have a bunch of burning hearts that are in this oneness unity that can go forth with this message because they didn't grasp it in their head. They became it in their heart. Completely different. So I do love all of you and you do matter. and your words matter. And I'm really grateful you're here. And I look forward to having you come over to the Zoom meeting. And again, just to let you know, I am going to be broadcasting it on YouTube as well. But if you want to actually participate, if you want to be able to ask questions and be in a little intimate setting, I'm not going to be able to see what's going on in YouTube, and I'm not going to be able to see the words. And so hopefully I will have somebody as a moderator over there that can sign in as well and be able to take a look at that. But if not, you know what? I'm really not worried about it, because out of the mouth, the heart speaks. And if somebody is wrestling, sometimes they have to have a place where they can just vent. Because some of this stuff right now, we are dealing with some really dense stuff right now that's coming to the surface. And some people just need to be heard to see, do you even see me? Do you even see me? I see you. I see you. And if that's what you need to do to vent, if you need to uphold some religious dogma because you're afraid, I can handle that. Because guess what? I was there too. Oh gosh, I was there for a very, 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 very long time, like 40 years of my life. Now I'm just on the other side, and I can just say, hey, I love you. I get it. We're going places. Join when you can, because we're going to keep moving. All right, guys. I love you. Shalom, shalom, namaste. And I will see those of you who want to join on the Zoom meeting for Revelations 19, verse 7, about the wife and bride who has made herself ready. See you later.